Hello, hello, hello. This is Els coming to you from Bemis Crafty Corner, and I have a project for us. I was working on another video, um, and it dawned on me that, God, it's boring. So let me clarify what I'm talking about. So I was working on a project to make um, a tag book, because when I make my journals, I always like to give them extra tags that they can use. And I noticed that, we all use these, plain docked corners. They come from really big to really small. Or we have these, we make strips that we cut from leftover scraps and things. And maybe, we dock the corners on these and just use them and make that shape. Or if we have a punch, we punch these out at the top, whatever, whatever we can do. Maybe we have this tag or this tag punch. And so, we punch them out and we round the corners and we decorate them, or we use playing cards or something like that. So I was sitting here with a bunch of strips and I was going to make tags, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to cut these down to about 3-4 inches, and, I'll do the tops and decorate them and they'll be great. And then I thought about it and I said, there's so many other things we could do. So I did what I always do, and I looked for inspiration. And I found that inspiration. And I found that inspiration in my die sets. Now, I have a lot of die sets. A lot. Let me get this out of my way here. I've got postage stamps and hearts and stars and little ovals, and I have all of these plates from when I used to do a lot of cards. I still do a lot of cards, but I even have these coffins from when my daughter did her Dirty 30 party. I even have a set of these nesting dies that look like tags. I have some interesting shapes, more plates. I have some of these other plates. We have a lot of dies, a lot of nesting dies specifically. And I thought these would make great tags. So what I want to do is I want to pick a couple of these. And I want to cut some tags. And then I want to kind of work those tags. So I needed some paper. And I thought, I've been using this Authentique and this Seven Gypsies pad recently. And I have, pieces. And I usually put them back in, where I pull them from. So I have a lot of pieces throughout the pad. And I thought, some of these would be cute to make tags out of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some paper. See, we've got some pieces just kind of hanging out here. That would be a cute tag. We'll take that one. And I'm going to cut out some pieces. And ooh, look at all of these. See, lots of pieces. Okay, so I'm going to take these, and because these are tags, they don't have to be that big. So I'm going to be using my little sidekick to do this. So basically, any die that I have that's will fit through this slot will work for a tag. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out some dies, and I'll be right back. So I picked out a couple of dies in some different shapes that I thought would be interesting. And I have some pieces of scrap paper that I believe the dies will fit on. And I have here a file folder that I'm going to use to cut the backs of these, because this is, this is scrapbook paper. It's not very thick. So to thicken it up, I'm going to attach it to some file folder, or you could use a piece of cardstock if you wanted to, if it matched or something, or if you had some scraps that you could use. You could certainly use that to back it as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of this, and the opening here is 2.5 inches, so I want to make sure that this is no wider than 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to take it and put it into a trimmer at 2.5 inches, just a hair under 2.5. I'm going to cut that down. And, you know, this doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm going to cut off the part where it's got the extra lines, and I'm going to cut off the little, I don't even have to cut off the rounded part if it's not, and it's not even folded over, so I don't have to worry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper, make sure that that's 2.5 inches as well. And then I'm just going to put a piece of this on top of my backing, put it on a plate. I'm going to take one of my dies. Let me get this out of the way. And just put that on there, making sure that it's in the center of the plate. I'm going to put the top piece on and just run this through my Sidekick. Now I am cutting through 2 pieces here, so it's going to be kind of thick, so I'm going to run it both ways. Okay, get this out. Fantastic, and I'm going to go ahead and cut, you know, a couple more, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut out a few of these, and all I'm going to do is glue them together. I am going to decide, you know, which side I want up, which side I want down, but basically I'm going to glue them together. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here on the back piece. Making sure I get the edges. I'm going to be real careful when I line these up. And I'm using a wet glue so that I have that extra second to kind of push them where I want them. Alright, so now that I have them all glued up and they're dried and they're ready to go, we're going to start thinking about poking holes in them, and then we'll get to decorating them. Okay? So I am going to get out my eyelet punch and my eyelet setters and all that good stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay. So this is my eyelet pliers, and they punch the hole for me right over here and set the eyelets right here. They are spring active. They do have your standard measuring tool here so that I can set my depth and get all my depth correct each and every time. And this is my set of eyelets that comes with my set. And I now have to decide what color eyelets do I want to just use. Just silver, you know, on all of them, or do I want to add some colors? And I'm thinking this one here, I might do the red, and I think the rest of these I'll probably just do in black. Okay, so let's start with this one. So I've set a depth on here of just about a 1/4 of an inch from the edge, because the way that this measures, it's 1/4 of an inch. It's the measurement is from the middle of the circle. So I'm going from the outside of the cut. I've gone about a 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to put this in, making sure that I'm in the middle. And I'm just going to pop a hole right there. I'm going to place my eyelet into the hole. And of course, at this point, I can still change my mind if I don't like the red once it's in here. Okay, and I do like the red. Now, my eyelets come with this backing piece, and it just keeps it from, you know, fraying too much. And on the side of my plier, there's a little mark right here that tells me that that is the part that goes into the eyelet, and then I just give it a quick squeeze. And see that? No sharp edges on there, and I have a nice back and a nice front, and it looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and put holes in the rest of these and get the eyelets in them, and then we'll get started decorating. Okay, so in the interest of expediency, I went ahead and just inked them all with the same brown color. And I used Cafe au Lait. So I just went ahead and inked them front and back. And I got started on this one just because I wanted to kind of get a feel for where I was going here. So what I've done is we put that little piece on there at the beginning, and I just added a little piece of lace here with a little applique, and then just to keep with that kind of brown overall color scheme that we have here, because, you know, we have the brownish color here, and then the brown here, I just went ahead and used a piece of brown seam binding here, and I'm leaving the black back blank. Say that 4 times real fast. I'm leaving the back blank so that, you know, this can be journaled on. So we're going to set this to the side and let the Fabri-Tac dry. Now we're going to move on to the next one, so let's bring another one down. Okay, so I'm kind of messing around with this, trying to figure out what to do. It's just nothing coming to me at this point on what to do here. I have some mini fairy cards, no good. Music, no. Extraordinary bling, no. Just nothing working here. Let's take a look at some of these Punch Studio pieces. Let's see if there's anything in here. That's going to be too big, too big, too big. No, 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 way too big. No, 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 no. No. No and no. Guys, this is not working for me. And you know, sometimes it just is what it is. I honestly have to say, I think this one beat us. So I will set it to the side, and maybe, you know, maybe down the road I'll figure out something that needs to be done to this piece. But I do have a lot of these to show you, So I'm going to go ahead and clean up this mess, and I'll be right back, and we'll take a look. Okay, so let's put a little extra light on the subject. There we go. All right, so we have finished these. Of course, there's the first one that we did, and all we did on this one was added a few extra little pearls at the bottom. And then we did this one, which we added this little piece here just to simulate a flower. And then, of course, the flat one that we did, we just added some metal pieces to it. And then this one that we had so much trouble with, just kind of, you know, it spoke. So I added a little fuzzy tassel to the top and some small pearls. I added a pink cameo, a little word here, a stamp, and just a piece of ribbon. And let me show you a couple of the other ones that I've done. Using some different shapes. So we have a few here that we use that are the same shapes as these, just smaller. And this one here. And then we did this one, which is the same shape, just again, just a little smaller. And this one here. And now on this one, this was a piece of washi tape, and I just watercolored the center of it to make it look more like a real stamp. And then I tried a couple of different shapes. We did a round one, and we did some of these. And even a couple of coffins. So that's it, guys. That's just an alternative to using your standard tag shapes. I thought, let's get out our dies and let's actually do something a little different. Until I see you again, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like, ring my bell, and share me with all your friends. Till the next time, guys. Bye-bye.